Matthew 24.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noe entered into the ark, and knew not, until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
For a top 10 list Milwaukee does not want to be on. A list of the 10 most dangerous cities is out, and unfortunately, we're on it.
Fox 6's Brett Lemoyne live at 60th and Good Hope with where Milwaukee falls on this list, Brett.
Yeah, well, the good news is we are not number one on that list. That distinction belongs to St. Louis. However, we did make the top 10. In fact, Milwaukee ranking at number 6 on the list of most dangerous cities.
This is a very powerful and important day.
Milwaukee is recognizing Denim Day, an international campaign to call attention to sexual violence and end victim blaming.
You do have a right to say no.
Sexual assaults, along with murders, robberies, and other crimes, are all part of FBI crime data examined by a group called SafeWise. Based on that data, SafeWise ranked cities with populations of 300,000 or more to determine the most dangerous. Milwaukee comes in as the 6th most dangerous big city in America.
It's definitely not a list that we want to be on, but I also want to acknowledge that there's a lot of work being done to make sure that we don't remain on.
Milwaukee area residents pleading guilty to supporting ISIS.
Their cases are separate, but as Amy Dupont explains, the Department of Justice says they had the same goal in mind.
Although they didn't know one another or ever work together, U.S. Attorney Matthew Krieger and members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force say Heba Dice and Yosvani Padilla Conde wanted the same thing, to support the terror group ISIS.
The people like Padilla Conde and Dice pose significant threats to Americans both here in the U.S. and abroad.
Prosecutors say Dice, a Cudahy mom, used social media to share instructions for making bombs and poison and encourage lone wolf attacks, while Padilla Conde, a Cuban national living in Milwaukee, and another man attempted to travel to the Middle East to join ISIS.
These cases demonstrate the continuing and evolving threat posed by foreign terrorist organizations.
Investigators could not tie either defendant to any terror attacks that were carried out, but say the hate they spread is equally dangerous, pointing to the most recent attack.
We mourn with the people of Sri Lanka.
At least 290 people, including a Wisconsin native, were killed in a string of bombings in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday.
Those are the values of the groups that the defendants we are here to discuss today were seeking to support.
Dice and Padilla Conde pled guilty to separate charges of supporting ISIS. Both are behind bars where they could spend the next 20 years.
Widespread damage across parts of the South after a ferocious line of storms drops hail bigger than a fist, smashing homes and cars, sending people running for cover. NBC's Blake McCoy on the violent path of destruction.
Pounding hail as big as softballs, battering North Texas, crashing through windows, destroying cars, and ripping holes into the siding of homes.
They were way bigger than this.
Anna Martin saved the hail that fell onto her house.
What do you say it sounded like?
Like a machine gun.
Next door, the driving rain brought down Denise Davis's ceilings. A creaking noise woke her up. She got out of bed to turn on the light.
As soon as I moved out of my bed, my ceiling in my bedroom fell on me.
Today, Wiley schools are closed as residents assess the damage. Almost 150 homes battered by the larger-than-normal hail. These storms had unusually strong updrafts, building the hail in the clouds for longer, some reaching the size of softballs before they were heavy enough to fall, leaving a wave of destruction. Destruction in Arkansas, too, where lightning is the probable cause of a church fire. and one woman was killed in a car accident.
Went right through the windshield.
Back in Texas, Carlos Espinosa, a roofer, was in the direct line of those hailstorms. His truck is destroyed, but it doesn't matter.
I'll be here a while fixing these roofs.
Residents say all of this damage happened in a matter of minutes. This is some of that hail. The cleanup work here is happening quickly because another round of severe weather is expected to hit on Friday. Lester?
All right, Blake, thank you.
This happened early this morning from a possible tornado. Buildings destroyed, roads blocked, and widespread power outages in the city of Ruston, Louisiana, which is east of Shreveport. The Louisiana governor says at least 2 people have been killed. That's a tree on fire near a power line in this photo, and take a listen to this.
We just rode out a tornado in a freaking camper. So check this out. Let's spin this thing around. So this is Ruston, the powwow across from Pizza Hut.
That's Daniel Norrid, who, as you can hear, was caught in his camper at the time. The Louisiana Tech campus, which is in Ruston, suffered lots of damage. The college has canceled classes for today. Severe storms have been moving through Louisiana and Texas all week. Wednesday in Dublin, Texas, which is southwest of Fort Worth, a woman and her 2 young children were killed when their car was caught in a flash flood. The woman's husband was able to cling to a tree and he survived. At least 2 tornadoes were reported in West Texas, in Bryan, near the Texas A&M University. Damage was reported to several buildings. And officials say it's too early to tell if storms contributed to this train derailment in Fort Worth. The train burst into flames, forcing several residents nearby to evacuate and even killed 3 horses trapped in a stable.
People are over here vandalizing neighbors, property. It's all over garages in black ink.
Kentura Edwards says she's lived near 47th and Chambers in Milwaukee for the last 5 years. While holding her baby girl, she tells us of the satanic images her neighbors woke up to following Easter Sunday.
We have a neighbor that came out and was showing us what he saw. We walked the alley.
Garages, garbage cans, and even piles of garbage were spray painted with symbols offensive to Christian-based religions.
666, that's the mark of the beast to me.
For example, upside-down crosses, the satanic number 666, God is expletive, this planet is hell, and given recent events, the most troubling is the message, burn all churches.
We never had this in our neighborhood.
Edwards suspects the demonic pictures popped up sometime in the late hours of the holiday, when people were indoors. She's planning on contacting police and alerting the city to the graffiti.
Nothing's going on over here. It's just, a lot of family-owned homes over here, so... Yeah, for this to happen, it needs some attention.
She wonders if hate groups are behind the vandalism. She's among many neighbors left outraged and upset.
Your neighborhood watch or something needs to be done in this neighborhood since this is going on now.
Satanic Temple wins IRS recognition as an official house of worship. This was posted April 26, 2019. Many Americans regard paying taxes as a necessary evil if they want to worship Satan. Now the IRS has officially given them a tax-exempt place to do so. The Internal Revenue Service has granted the same nonprofit status given to churches, synagogues, and mosques to the Satanic Temple, an organization in Salem, Massachusetts that calls itself America's first devil-worshipping church. It is now protected by federal laws governing churches that operate as charities. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. And it just shows we're in the last days. So if you do not know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, please accept Him as your Lord and Savior today. Do not be taken by Satan and all of his trickery and lose out on being with Jesus forever in heaven.